Welcome to Leadership Unveiled, a podcast series that explores the minds and journeys of the pioneering leaders, entrepreneurs making waves in the business world. I'm your host, Neha Jagnani, and today we are in for a treat. Our guest today is a visionary HR leader shaping workplaces that thrives on diversity, innovation, and purpose. Welcoming Chella Pandian Pitchai. Chella is the global head of DEI, culture, values and belongingness, leadership development, talent, and sustainability at Biocon Biologics. He is a pioneering HR leader and a certified coach with over 25 years of experience. He excels in architecting inclusive cultures, driving talent development, fostering innovation, and championing sustainability. He has head HR in India, Singapore, Malaysia, Bangkok, and Indonesia, and has been a global head of HR at consumer care business. Recognized with awards such as HR Leader of the Year in Malaysia from 2017 to 2019, Civilian Award by Armed Forces for Building Nation, and is among the 501 most influential HR professionals worldwide. Chela is pursuing a Doctor of Business degree in sustainability using GenAI, and he's dedicated to women empowerment and social impact through his global leadership and community initiatives. Chela, thank you so much for joining us today. How do you feel about this?
Hey, thank you, Neha. And then it's been always privileged to associate with HRAI and been in some form part of some of the great work you as a organization, as a leaders doing. And thank you for inviting. And I'm look forward to how I can add value to this whole conversation.
Sure. Thank you so much, Chella, for your kind words, and it's our pleasure to have you today on this podcast. So to kick things off, I'll jump into this Q&A segment. So my first question to you is, given your commitment to women empowerment, Chella, what are some of the practical steps that organizations can take in order to drive real change in this space?
The number one, which I've been talking about in several conferences and with leaders I meet, or when I write, or when I put it in the LinkedIn post, or whenever I get an opportunity. And I talk about this across generation. It's not about only to certain people. And I keep talking about this to Gen Z because when you want to be a change makers, are you willing to change yourself? Because the change begins with you. Then I off late started talking about the changes which we need to make to alpha generation.
Mhm.
I do go to school and spend time. And one of the best conferences where I have moderated is Gen Alpha. Someone from 8th standard, 9th standard, and 10th grade students I was moderating. And I came out with such a great feeling of some of the thoughts which they carry, which is going to really make an important uh, change for the future. Coming back to your question, what organization should do or could do or doing? We are three levels of organization maturity.
Right.
There are organizations already doing. And in fact, there are organizations who have already done and sustaining.
Right.
The third category is organization want to do.
Right.
And the fourth category is organization still not thinking about it. So to all of them, what I would say is if somebody has done it, it's always good to absorb and observe some practices. It's not about copying practices. It is like absorbing some practices, customized to suit
Right.
you and see how it helps and enables you as an organization. Because we don't have to reinvent the wheel if it is still relevant.
Right.
So the relevancy is the key. A lot of times we try to do something which is outdated. Then it may not work, and then you feel it's not working for us. Right? Second is or observe and then see. Probably you can put your ideas into it and see what can be done. Or most importantly, can we innovate? It means not take reference of anyone and anybody who has done it in the past. I
Right.
go all out and say, this is my need and this is what I want to do, and go ahead and implement and see, wow, somebody's already done this or somebody's not thought about it. It gives you a new energy to do it.
Right.
So the 3 points which is important is adopt, adapt, and abort. What I mean by that is we need to adopt some of the best practices when it comes to women empowerment or women development,
Mhm.
or adapt to the situation. Right, today we can't ignore the fact that the gender balance in leadership, gender agnostic practices, gender influential policies, wherever and whenever required, we have to adapt to that. We can't say I won't do it, or I don't give importance to that. Abort is some of the conditional practices what we do.
Mhm.
Unless we're willing to let it go, we can't bring new practices. We can't think differently because the mind is always conditioned to what you've been already doing.
Right.
So the adopt, adapt, and abort will become very important when you want to go from where you are to where you want.
Right, absolutely. Truly intriguing, Chilla, especially the concept of adopt, adapt, and abort. Also, I liked when you mentioned that it doesn't have to be in a way where you're reinventing the wheel. Um, you have to follow certain things which has worked well in that space. So thank you so much. That's truly intriguing. My next question, Chilla, is you have led HR functions across multiple countries. So, given this global exposure, I want to know how this exposure has led to or has shaped your leadership philosophy.
The way the global leadership practices enables us is to look at beyond countries, beyond nationalities. When you go and um, try and bring new thoughts, or uh, validate your thoughts, or look up to leaders with different thinking, it makes you feel humble. The humbleness is one thing which you learn, because how much ever you know, and when you go into different countries and different people, then you suddenly feel that there's a lot more to learn, right? Because when you're in a comfort zone, you always feel you know it. And when you go into an uncomfortable state, which has a lot of disadvantage, but there are several advantages. Which is one of them is you start reinventing yourself.
Right.
Hence, I started loving to be in the space of uncomfortable
Right.
place, because
Right.
I started realizing the benefit of being in an uncomfortable state, because you emerge as a leader and you suddenly realize that you have to find new ways of managing the challenges, or even managing the happiness, right? So
Right.
you don't get excited and get carried away. Second, the problem solving approaches, you suddenly feel there is a greater level of inclusion is required, because the diversity of thoughts, I'm talking about the cognitive diversity here, right? You, even within the same place, you see two of us can think differently for the same problem,
Right.
or we may have a different opinion on a same issue. But then when you go to different countries, then you see even more diverse thoughts come.
Right.
So that helps you to understand the power of inclusion. Right? And then the third thing which I realized in my leadership was the importance of innovation. Innovation can be called in multiple ways. Anything which is new and useful is what I call it as innovation. And a lot of people get confused on innovation is something which only very few scientists could do, or very few engineers can do. No, every human being can be an innovator. If you want to innovate, innovation happens in streets, innovation happens in restaurants, innovation happens everywhere.
Right.
So innovation is key, because you go and see some of the innovative solutions people have brought in simple things to the most complex issues. You
Mhm.
feel you can't be a leader without innovation as one of your key leadership style. And the fourth important, I have only top five, so let me say the fourth, which is empathy. Right? Without an empathy, whatever you do, you will somewhere feel guilty about your leadership style, because you have not carried people along,
Right.
or you have not thought about the patients, consumer, customers, but you have just done for yourself because you felt it was good, or even for employees, right?
Mhm.
Or even for your own team.
Right.
So it has to be a holistic, empathetic leadership approach. That is something which I learned. Lastly, leaving a legacy, right? What are you doing all of this for? If you don't want to leave a legacy, the legacy could be strong talent you're leaving into the market or to the organization,
Right.
or you've coached people who are the future leaders of the country or for the world, or you're mentoring people who are getting transformed that you feel proud of, that he or she or anyone is your product that were making a difference or who are becoming the change makers. Or you're not meeting people but you're influencing them through such podcast or LinkedIn post, or even by your writings or speaking or by in-person talking, right? So if you're not leaving such legacy with what you have learned, you have to give it back, right? That's something which every leader should do. So those are five things I would say. These global roles and me traveling multiple countries and working in different countries have made me a different person to find my NPV, next best version of myself.
Wonderful, Chella. It's truly insightful and very inspiring, I must say, all the 5 points. Thank you so much for that. My next question, Chella, is what inspired your deep commitment to DEI, culture, and sustainability?
The simple thought of inclusion is the human nature. That's the only way we were supposed to live,
Right.
because we are dependent on people and we want people around. We will realize this only if you're put into a place where no human beings are there. We will go mad. We need people. We are designed to be with people. We are a social being, right? We need, and then the supreme power of what we have of thinking, laughing, emotions, all of this within the living beings, human beings have the highest order. And hence, we got to be more inclusive than anybody else or any other living beings. But somewhere, as the human existence evolved, competition began, and a little bit of change in our approach began, and then it becomes so strong,
Right.
and we have forgotten our basics. The basic is inclusion. In the need for inclusion arises only if there is a diversity. Imagine all of us look same, feel same, think same, and then it's there's clones of us, right? Everybody looks same height, same weight, same race, color. Then there is no need for inclusion because there is no diversity there.
Right.
So diversity, or actually the other way, inclusion demands diversity, and inclusion fuels innovation. So in a formula, you put inclusion at the middle.
Yeah.
It demands diversity, hence the existence of inclusion. Because there is inclusion, it leads to innovation. Because any innovation without inclusion is not diverse enough, or any innovation without inclusion is not going to be successful.
Right.
So that attracted me into DEI, right? It's like going back to basics, nothing
Right.
more than that. Second, sustainability, we can go back to basics and become inclusive. Inclusiveness is not only about past and present, it's about future as well. So today need is to make sure that the fellow human beings are included. But I wanted to say just not fellow human being, but the future human beings also to be included. It means that you need to leave a place for them. You need to leave that knowledge for them. And you need to leave certain opportunity for them to come and innovate and take it to the next level. If we use all of it and go, then what will they do, right? So that is also inclusion. So that's the reason why sustainability. Culture, values, belongingness is something which why I'm very passionate about it is like our country is full of culture. And especially when I started traveling and living in other countries, the way people appreciate our culture, then I started feeling that we've taken it for granted. And that hence I said culture is huge, vast. It can be for country, it can be for companies, it can be for home, and it can be for your own community, family, and it can go to the micro level to the macro level.
Right.
Macro level is the humanity itself is a culture.
Right.
Values somewhere. over a period of the last many years, I realized values is 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 the anchor for how you wanted to flourish. Without values, I've seen cases of many failed because there is a compromise on values.
Right.
So values is something, whether it is as a role I do it, or as a person I do it at home, or as a friend, as a father, as a brother, or as anything, you have to have values. So when the role itself, an organization values are very important, right? Values are at the center. Everything what we do has to revolve around values. So personally, when I'm of high values, when there is a role which I could do, which is all about values, I do it passionately. Belongingness is, I'll tell you again, go back to the humanity part. The belonging is the reason why we are all still exist. Right? We want to belong to who we are, to our family, to our place of birth, to the place where we work, to the country we work, and the world we belong. So I think all of this, whether it's a job or as a person, there is a great level of synchronization. So when this came to me to build, operate, and then take it to the next level, I'm just passionate about it.
Absolutely, Chilla, beautifully put. Especially how basic it is to understand that people are vulnerable, people depend on people. The whole thing that you talked about, inclusion demands diversity, and how both of them can fuel to innovation. And then, the lovely points that you mentioned in the end. So thank you so much, Chilla. Um,
Actually, Neha, we have complicated a simplest thing of uh, the whole DEI or culture values. We think as something which is new. No, it is the basic. And that's the foundation on which we as a human being should evolve. Forget society, organization, family. As an individual, these are all basics for us. And
Absolutely.
that's how you evolve. But today it becomes a differentiator because a lot of this are missing, and hence bringing it back becomes a huge project. But actually we are going back to basics.
Going back to basics, correct. Absolutely. So, Chilla, my next question is, what's one emerging trend in HR that excites you the most?
Tough question.
Okay,
There is not one emerging trend, and hence it is tough.
sure.
There are so many emerging. Um, the way we do HR won't be same few years back. Yesterday I was talking to somebody, right? The way we leverage digital today, or the artificial intelligence, what we are doing, or what we are leveraging, or the Gen AI, which is helping us to become a better leader in our own roles, is going to be 50x, 100x more in the years to come. Just not 1x, 10x, right? It's going to be multiple folds. It's going to unfold. Again, it goes back to the first 3 A's I spoke about: adopt, adapt, and abort. How quickly we adopt and how much we adapt. The reason adapt comes when you adopt, then you're saying something definite is there, you can adopt.
Right.
This is a moving, no one knows what level it's going to unfold because everybody is into it at the same time. Technology is something nobody can be called a subject matter expert. No generation can be called a subject matter expert because all generations are learning at the same time,
Yes.
right? So hence, being open to what's going to come and being excited about it instead of getting worried
Mhm.
is something which I'm excited about. Even in HR,
Mhm.
I see complete shift will happen. But what could help us is to understand that we are going to coexist with robots, coexist with artificial intelligence, coexist with generative AIs. So there's a combination of OI and AI. OI means original intelligence. AI is artificial intelligence. And there is another I which I bring it in my conferences, GI, which is general intelligence or generic intelligence, which is all human beings have the common intelligence. Original intelligence very unique to me, or you call it as UI, unique intelligence, or original intelligence, and artificial intelligence. With all of that, we are going to be coexisting. And what I'm excited is how technology is going to help me to become a better leader.
Right.
Not that I'm worried, but I'm excited.
Absolutely. Great point there. Sheila, so my last question in this segment is that you're currently pursuing a Doctor of Business degree in sustainability using Gen AI. So, how do you see AI playing a role in shaping sustainable business practices?
Lots. And I'll tell you, it's going to make wonders, and it's going to reduce our operational time, data analysis time, the research part, and going around and looking for informations. Because in a PhD, it's all about doing the right research, right data, right reference, right patterns, which helps you to make certain decisions, right?
Right.
So sustainability is all about knowing where we are losing what, where we are likely to lose, right? Where we're likely to get into trouble. What part of the uh, consumers' behaviors is going to affect the society in the future, in the current, what affected in the past,
Right.
and what kind of usage again goes back to consumer behavior, which is going to create a huge dent in the environment or in the ozone layer or in the universe. So if you're able to uh, predict this, get all this in front of you, even if it is not 100% accurate, but largely it is accurate,
Mhm.
then your mind is not wasting time on collecting the data
Right.
or talking about why is this happening and feeling frustrated. Rather, you're channelizing all your energy into, well, this is the fact, or this is likely to be a fact. So how am I preparing myself? So you get whole lots of minds and brains and hearts going into thinking about how am I going to secure the world for the next generation. Again, inclusion comes into picture
Right.
because you're empathetic leader. So I
Absolutely.
would link it back to what I started off with: inclusion, empathy. If that is not there, you cannot leave a sustainable world for the future, or you cannot leave a better world for future generation. And because you will use it and you'll just walk away, right?
No.
So I'm very excited that I'm part of this, and I'm going to coexist with AI to see how it can help me to do or recommend a better solution.
Sure.
And so it's kind of a excited about the PhD work I'm doing.
Sure. Great perspective, Chella. Thank you so much. So now we are going to switch gears here, Chella, and get into this quick rapid fire round. This activity is just a light activity to get to know you better. So I'll post some questions where I would expect some rapid answers. Are you ready
I
for?
don't do well in rapid questions.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Let's try.
Okay. Wonderful. One word that defines your leadership style.
Inclusion.
A book that changed your perspective on leadership.
The one which I'm writing, it's called NBV, Next Best Version.
Okay. Okay. The best career advice you have ever received.
Find your next best version.
If you weren't in HR, what career would you have pursued?
I was a biochemist. I moved to HR, and so probably I would have continued as a scientist.
Okay. A country you loved working in the most.
Patriotically, India,
Okay.
um, but otherwise, I had worked in few other countries, and I don't choose one because every opportunity gave me a good exposure. But simple answer is India.
Okay, sure. A misconception people have about HR.
HR is more operational people,
Okay,
not strategic enough. That's a misconception.
right. Your go-to way to unwind after a long day.
Change today, Instagram, Insta stories. It
Okay,
helps me to understand what's happening around.
sure.
But it used to be book in the past, and yeah, so there are different age, different time periods, different things. But
Sure.
one word answer is Instagram.
Okay, okay. An inspiring leader that you really admire.
Kiran Mazumdar Shah, for many places I've said, she's the one who inspired my hero.
Okay, okay, wonderful. A must-have skill for HR professionals in the future.
coexist with artificial intelligence, leverage the technology.
Okay. So my last question now is a dream initiative you would love to launch someday.
Next best version, the book which I'm writing. I've already spoken in TEDx, but I
Okay.
want to bring the book, and it's not about bringing the book. I wanted to see if people can benefit from that. It is meant for all generations.
Sure, sure. Wonderful. So that was quick, and I must say it was a great rapid fire, Chella. I was quick and sharp, so thank you so much. This brings us to the end of the podcast, and it was my pleasure to host you today. Some great insights and perspectives. So, on behalf of HRAI, I would like to thank you for taking out time and sharing your experiences with us today.
Wonderful. I have a question for you.
Please.
When is going to be my next podcast? I loved it.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Absolutely.
Sure.
We'll schedule it probably in the coming month. Personally, I had a great experience here, Chilla. Some impromptu answers, some great perspectives, deep insights, some simple yet thought-provoking things that you said today are, going to be my biggest takeaways. So thank you so much for throwing lights on those.
Hey, pleasure is mine. All the
Thank you.
best.
So, Chilla, I'll
Thank
just have a quick note to our listeners. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, do not forget to subscribe and leave a review. Until we meet next time, stay inspired and keep innovating. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
you. Bye.
Thanks a
Sure.
lot. Thank you.